What's up, everybody? Welcome into a new episode of the Rapala We Are Collegiate Bass Podcast. Leaving soon here to head to ICAST in Orlando, Florida next week. So be on the lookout for some content from that across all of our pages for the ACA and the Bass Pro Shops Collegiate Bass Fishing Series. Today, an exciting episode to bring to y'all. Special guests today on this episode, the winners of the ACA's 21st ever Collegiate Bass Fishing Championship presented by Bass Pro Shops. It took place at Pickwick Lake just over a month ago. Benjamin Travis and Carty Shoen from top 25 ranked Auburn University got the win with a two-day total of 45.30 pounds. Carty, will ask you the first question. We saw the emotion on stage the day of the event. A month later now, just kind of recap how everything feels. Yourself, a graduate, one of your biggest accomplishments in collegiate fishing in your career comes in essentially your last tournament. Just kind of sum up those emotions as we speak here today.
Yeah, this was really special for me, mostly because I knew this was it. You know, and you go into college and you always have this dream of winning the Natty, and really specifically the ACA Natty. You look at all the names on that trophy, you look at the guys that have done it. You always go into a tournament of this caliber, of course, wanting to win. And the added emotion of Ben being one of my best friends, Ben coming into Auburn at the same time as me, I knew that we had a really special opportunity after day one went so well. And, you know, Ben shares most of his emotions on the inside, and I'm a very outward-facing, emotional guy. And you could see every ounce of blood, sweat, tears, time on the water. You know, you do it for that moment right there, that moment when you actually get the win. So a storybook ending for me was really a blessing from God. I couldn't have, imagined it much better. It felt like I got repaid for a lot of the work that I had put in, and I'd been waiting for something like that. Ben had been waiting for something like that. Some would say that both him and I were a little bit due for a really special tournament, and I couldn't have imagined it to go any better.
Yeah, it's awesome to hear. You can just sense it in the emotion as you speak to be able to hear that. Ben, we'll ask you a similar question, and Carty, you knocked on something there I wanted to mention is you talk about the names on the trophy, something that we highlighted at the time. Auburn, along with Bethel, y'all's victory puts you guys, that makes 3 total ACA National Championships won by anglers from Auburn University. Y'all joined Bethel, is the only other school in all of collegiate bass fishing to have won that title specifically 3 times. Benjamin, yourself, jump in here real quick, as Carty was saying what this meant to him. Just kind of summarize for yourself as well what that moment was, whether maybe Pickwick's a lake that well, maybe you've had a love-hate relationship with it and not had the success you wanted. Kind of summarize what that victory meant and it taking place in the home state of which y'all school's located.
Oh, man, it was absolutely incredible. It's kind of funny you brought that up. Pickwick's a lake that my first year in college, my freshman year, I would have told you it was probably my least favorite lake in the nation. It was like I just couldn't jive with it. I didn't understand it. And for a while, like I kind of dreaded going there, but it's kind of cool that, through the spring tournament ACA has there, it kind of seems like we always revisit Pickwick. And over the last 4 years, I've actually grown to really enjoy fishing that lake. But man, it was just incredible. Kind of like Carty said, all the hard work that we've put in, both, having good tournaments. We've both had a close call, a third place finish in a collegiate event. Another national championship last year. Me and my old partner were sitting in 4th and just dropped the ball. Like just the whole string of 4 years of trials and tribulations to actually see one go our way. It was just an absolute blessing.
Let's talk about how the tournament played out. Over both days of competition, a little overcast, chances of rain. I think it rained a little more on the second day than it did the first day. Let's break down that first day. Carty, 26.91s, which y'all brought to the scales there at McFarland Park, had y'all sitting in first place. Just kind of break it down. How did the day go? What were y'all doing catching fish? I believe maybe there was a big bass that helped bolster that bag. Talk a little bit about how the first day played out.
Yeah, the first day was really special. It was really cool on my behalf. I got to watch Ben put on one of the most impressive clinics of my life. It was absolutely incredible to, be there, be a part of, catch some fish in the mix. But, our game plan in practice was pretty simple. We had a pretty good idea of how the tournament was going to pan out, at least what the fish were going to be doing. So, our game plan was stumps and ledges. And in practice, we ran and looked for ledges. We made sure that we had a good mentality the whole time. Like we were talking about, this was, close to it for both me and Ben. So our morale had to stay high. And all of practice, we kept telling each other, we just got to go have a good time. So long story short, come tournament, the stretch that we started on was not producing. There was, it was kind of blown out with shad, and you couldn't really see any of the fish you wanted to catch. And that was actually ended up being the same stretch that we caught all of our fish on later in the day. So, come about noon, we're still struggling. We've got maybe 4 fish in the boat. I catch a 4-pound smallmouth, and at the moment, so I like to say at the moment, that was like our big break. Like we finally got a big bite, and we felt like we weren't totally screwed. For the next 2 hours, Ben proceeds to catch every single fish that bites. He was throwing an urchin style lure, and he catches. I might get the order wrong. I guarantee you Ben will get the order better than me, but he caught a 5, a 4, a 9, and a 5. And that 9-pounder was one of the coolest bites I have ever seen. We even still then, I feel like we didn't know the weight of just how important all those bites were. And it felt like a magical, 2-hour stretch where we went from nothing to 27 pounds. And I remember looking at the scale and then walking back up to Trav while he's working scope. And I'm like, dude, we smashed them, bro. Like we really have something special cooking up right here. So it was pretty much just a magical day. It was our time. Like everybody says it sounds cliche, but when it mattered, Ben and I could do no wrong, especially on day one. Holy smokes. I mean, you've got to be kidding. That was incredible.
Ben, it sounds like you have a lot to back up there, as Carty was describing. Walk us through as well yourself, the emotions, the moment that took place there on the first day that you could probably point to a lot of different things over the course of those 2 days of tournament competition, but that 2-hour stretch on day one might have ultimately been what ended up winning all the tournament. Talk about that real quick and break it down as Carty just described as well.
Oh, 100%. If you'd ask us as far as 11 or 12 o'clock in the day on the first day, we wouldn't have even been in contention for that tournament, like not even anywhere close. But like Carty was saying, we had a game plan of what we kind of wanted to do, and we spent pretty much the entire practice idling, looking for offshore schools of fish. And it was just it seems like every year when we go to Pickwick, we've made the mistake before in years past that predicting it's May, the fish are post spawn, they should be grouping up offshore, and for whatever reason, it seems like a lot of times they really don't do that that early at Pickwick anymore. And we kind of used that to our advantage. We said, hey, we're going to go idle and look, and if we find them, great. If we don't, we're not going to try to make something work that has never really panned out for us. So with that being said, I told Carty we pulled up on that really good stretch that just from history, I kind of felt like that'd be where it went down. We pulled up there first thing in the morning, and it was blown out with shad, and we fished for a little bit, and I was like, you know what? Like, we ain't even really fished, way down at the bottom end of the lake, but I was like, I got a feeling, let's just run down there and go fish for the day. And we did that, and it was an awful decision. We caught pretty much next to nothing. But that kind of set the stage for everything to go right that afternoon. It almost kind of worked itself out as far as timing. It didn't allow us to hit it too early, because at that point we were, a pretty good ways away doing other stuff, looking for other things. And it kind of just worked out. Like Carty said, the start to that was us pulling up, and, it was, midday. We didn't have much, and, morale wasn't on the floor, but it definitely wasn't high either. And, I had a fish follow me all the way to the boat, and probably 20 foot from the trolling motor, I finally reeled my bait in, didn't bite. Carty flips his urchin style bait out there, and it was like some like magical like aha moment where like all of a sudden the fish is just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna bite. Like for whatever reason we haven't hardly caught anything all day, and this fish is like, oh yeah, absolutely. So he catches a 4-pounder, and it was like, okay, like we might be fine. We just need to, execute and keep our mind right. And yeah, it's honestly kind of crazy to me. I mean, you would think a 9-pounder in a 5-fish bag, you're like, oh yeah, like they just got lucky and caught a big one. It was like, holy crap, that like a 9, 2 over 5, and 2 over 4. Like it was an absolutely unbelievable 2 hours fishing.
That's awesome to hear, guys. We're talking with Benjamin Travis and Carty Shoen from top 25 ranked Auburn University, winners of the ACA's Collegiate Bass Fishing Championship presented by Bass Pro Shops. Final event of the season on the Bass Pro Shops Collegiate Bass Fishing Series that took place there at Pickwick Lake. We heard them talk about the first day of competition that had them sitting in first place, moving on to the second day. Carty, we had started with live coverage. You guys had the privilege of having a camera in the boat, and we went live. So here, myself, back at the office, I was able to watch and see how things played out. And from what you're describing from day one to day two, where day one was maybe kind of slow and you didn't have exactly what you wanted, day two, you definitely got more bites early, maybe not the quality that you wanted. And as the day progressed, y'all added to that, cold out, and obviously the weather also maybe played a bit of a role as it was overcast and rainy throughout most of the day. Give me that breakdown on day two and how things played out for y'all to ultimately come to the scales with what ended up being the winning bag.
Yeah, day two was one of the most intriguing days of fishing of my life. We started off because we knew timing was so important to our deal. We obviously had an afternoon bite when those fish flipped on, and we were due in, I want to say, an hour and a half earlier than we were the previous day. So Ben and I were aware that we were most likely going to have much less time to fish our best stretch. So we start on something completely different. And Ben schemes up some TVA juice, and I'm throwing a big underspin on the end of this bar. And it's one of those deals like I'm literally hucking and winding. Like God puts these fish in the boat, I'm telling you. So I catch a 4 and a 3 fairly early in the day. And then for the next 6 hours, Ben catches something like 10 to 15 fish on our urchin. For whatever reason, we couldn't get the big caliber ones to go, but we were catching obviously more fish than on just day one. Most places we went, Ben was able to pick them apart and put a fish in the boat here and there, here and there, and here and there. And, we worked up to, I want to say, about 16 pounds, and we had about 30 minutes left in the day. I think you guys got this on GoPro footage, but it wasn't live. And, we picked off one here and there, and we got 30 minutes left in the day maybe. We went over a stump and saw 2 real big ones. And, I'm telling you, Ben and I watched 25 pounds do backflips on his bait the whole morning. Ben can attest, the whole day. We watched it, but we also knew we're if it's our time, it's going to be our time. It's going to be okay. And so we were pretty patient with it. We never really spun out. Neither of us know why we couldn't just get a big one in the boat. We knew if we had 20 pounds, it was probably over. We knew 16 pounds was going to be horrible. So we had a stump where 2 real big ones followed off, and now we've got maybe 10 minutes left in the tournament. And Ben and I are discussing what our next move should be. Now we're on our good stretch where it all went down the day before, but we had one stump where we knew that there were 2 big ones. And, Ben and I make the decision hey, let's go back and let's fish that stump again. We don't have a lot of time. We need to go try to catch a big one. And I throw Nico in there, and 4.5-pound smallmouth picks it up. And I believe that was kind of the cherry on top that got it done. We caught that with about 5 minutes left to go. We're pretty fired up. We're still thinking we needed one more. The 2 hours of weigh-in was easily the most stressful 2 hours of my life, but turns out we had just a pound more than we needed, and that 4-pounder, 4.25 or 4.5 was the cherry on top. But it's special because in a tournament, really every single one of those fish we caught was absolutely necessary. Highlighted by that 9-pounder. If you don't catch that 9-pounder, we're still real far away from it. But that's what you got to do to win one of these tournaments. You got to have a stellar, incredible day, and that's what we got to have both days. Even on day 2, when we thought we really fumbled the bag with 16, it was just our time. We were able to bump it up to 18 and get the job done.
Get the job done. You did, finishing in first place out of the more than 200 boat field there at the Collegiate Bass Fishing Championship presented by Bass Pro Shops. One of the ACA's final event of the year to count towards the Bass Pro Shops School of the Year presented by Abu Garcia. Bassmaster had one more event that following week. Then the totals were finalized for the points for this season, in which Auburn ended up finishing in 13th. Benjamin, just kind of recap, you guys got to cap off the season with this major national championship victory, 12-month race in the Bass Pro Shops School of the Year presented by Abu Garcia. Talk about this season that was over the 25-26 season that just wrapped up.
Oh man, it was really cool. We've got a really special program at Auburn, and man, it's been such a blessing for 4 years, 3 of which Carty and myself both were fortunate enough to serve on exec, and it was just it's been really cool to get to be a part of a program like Auburn has to help run it and make sure everything is as it should be. But the School of the Year, it's always a focal point for the team. It's always extremely a focal point for the executive team, that it's constantly, people making decisions to keep that title in mind. And we slipped up a little bit this year, but, through the past 4 years, we've kind of got to watch the team go through cycles. And it really seems like this next season, I feel like there really might be an uptick. The guys are fired up. But yeah, to cap last year off with the national championship win, I mean, and you can't ask for much more. That was a super special end of the year, and hopefully, some of the other advantages, like, fortunately, I think we had just lost, our extra boat this year. And that's a cool thing that y'all do at ACA, that you get incentivized for winning, that we get to have another boat for, the next 2 or 3 years of the national championship. So that's always a plus. That keeps the team, giving the team a little bit of an advantage. So that's super nice. But yeah, just super, super stellar end of the year.
Carty, yourself coming off of the last couple of years of being on the team, you're a recent graduate. Talk about maybe your time there, as Ben was reminiscing on what this season was and what the last couple of years have meant for y'all serving as leadership for the team. Talk about the significance of that for you, and maybe where fishing lies in your future post-grad, whether it's recreationally, fishing weekend tournaments, or trying to do the thing and travel the country. Just talk about real quick your time at Auburn and what it meant and your fishing plans here on into the future.
Yeah, long story short, my time at Auburn was so far the greatest period of my life, and it was filled with countless blessings, mostly because the people I got to be around. Ben was talking about it. Our team is student led, so nothing happens at Auburn if guys like Ben and I don't step up, and we've got a long culture of guys who have come before and done it and stepped up. And that's one of the most impressive things about Auburn and why it's so special. Is we create a great culture of hard work and understanding that if you want something done, you've got to go, tighten your bootstraps and go do it yourself. So that's a blessing. The people at Auburn are amazing. I think we have a very, very unique and amazing team. And even through years where we might not be in that top 5 School of the Year spot we want to, we've always got guys that are grinding, that want to go make it happen. Like Ben and I. Post-college, I am going to keep fishing as much as possible. Right now, I am back living in Arizona, fishing all the big West Coast tours. So One Bass, Bass Angler Magazine is starting a brand new trail that I believe is going to grow and be something fairly special for West Coast anglers. So I've been fishing those pro-ams, traveling. I've got the bug. College gives you the bug. College teaches you how to travel, how to manage time, how to manage money. So that is really a blessing if you want to go do something like this after college. So I'm ready for it. I understand what it's like to be on the road, and I'm just going to keep doing it till the wheels fall off.
That sounds like a good plan. That's what we talk about it a lot here, but this generation of angler, or this demographic as we speak, 17 to 23, a lot of y'all, I was there at one point. Now I'm married and got a family, and time isn't as available as it once was, but you're just ate up with it, and all you want to do is go fish. So awesome to hear that you still want to keep doing that, and hope you're able to do it for as long as you want to. Benjamin, last question for you. We talked about this past season that was going into this next school year, this upcoming season for the Bass Pro Shop School of the Year presented by Abu Garcia. What's kind of the game plan, the mentality, both as it pertains to the team as a whole there at Auburn and what you hope to achieve, as well as you'll have an opportunity to defend your title at the Collegiate Bass Fishing Championship presented by Bass Pro Shops, which is returning to Pickwick Lake in 2027?
Yeah, next year is going to be super cool. The team, we've definitely got a good game plan. I think we've got a new executive board that just got elected in, and they're super fired up. I think they've got a lot of good stuff coming, and a lot of good plans for this next season. Unfortunately, I've kind of stepped back from that a little bit, so I'm not entirely sure what they've got all lined up. But I'm sure that we'll have the full force of the team at the ACA slams and the other events, and preparing for that next year national championship. And it'd be super cool. I don't know. I'm really not too sure how much I'm going to get to fish college next year. I'm going to kind of do some opens and some Toyotas and try to kind of start building on that more. But I will definitely be trying to defend the title next year. Who knows? I might pick up somebody else from the team and rip it again. I don't know, but we'll definitely be there, and hopefully we might catch us some more big ones.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's always fun to finish out your college career. Myself, I kind of backed off of fishing and worked on getting graduated and getting a job, and you were preparing for what's next, but to have that little carrot right at the end to make the payoff of getting everything done in college, to have a chance to go back and defend, you'll have a shot there at Pickwick next spring. This has been Benjamin Travis and Carty Shoen from top 25 ranked Auburn University. Guys, appreciate the time here today. Best of luck in your next ventures, Carty, in this upcoming school year for yourself, Benjamin, and we'll talk to you guys again soon.
Thank you very much.
I've never been so excited to release a bait that has such a unique action, this unique sound, and it catches freaking big ones.
We've all heard the term size matters, and it does.
Dude, look at this.
I ain't saying it gets bigger bites, but it kind of does.